I felt like although we understand that Solo did lose money, I felt like the character that Woody Harrelson played in Solo was a good character. It was a Star Wars centric character that I felt belonged in the universe and wasn't compromised in any masculine way. So that's just my example, but I felt like his argument was very strong. So
what was that? Was that a main character in that series?
Oh, did you say main character?
No. Did he have any significant role in the overarching plot?
I would say that Woody Harrelson's character is he shepherds Han Solo.
Can you name his character?
I myself, I've seen the
yes,
film
exactly.
twice.
Therefore, if you cannot name his character and you cannot give me his full name and backstory, he is not a main character, sir. He is a side character. He is a little Tiffins.
I would not,
to be
Your
pushed
Honor,
off.
I would not.
To be pushed off into the slums of Mos Eisley with the garbage.
Your Honor, I would like to, for the record, I do not think if that I suggest that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if they have time, go back and watch Solo and watch that character. Ask yourself, is the Woody Harrelson character, which I'm very sorry, I can't remember his name, is he a side character? Mm-hmm. Is he a simp? And is he woke? I don't believe so. I rest my small case right there. Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Buechler. A couple questions, actually. So you said that allegorical morality is not political. Correct? Am I phrasing your side of the statement correctly?
I said yes.
Okay. So it's good versus bad, correct?
In Star Wars, yes.
Okay. So I guess what did the good side and what did the bad side? How did George Lucas come up with that? Was there any inspiration from that?
Oh, certainly. World War II, Vietnam War.
Okay. So those inspirations.
The Ewoks were supposed to be the Viet Cong.
Okay. So those inspirations, even though they are heavily based in political, because what those wars were fought over were political battles of different ideologies and different political structures, because they told a story about it, it makes it not political. Is that what you're saying?
I would say if something inspires a story, it doesn't make it inherently political, the story itself. No, it's basically a story of good and evil. We can all agree that the Nazis were evil. We can certainly agree with that. That is definitely that there's no shades of gray on that one. As far as what the rebels are, I would dare you, outside of what George has said outside of his movie, when you just watch the movie and walk out of the movie specifically, what specific political statement do you see other than evil bad?
Okay. And moving on to the next point, you talked about fan baiting. And I guess my question is, you've been around the block a lot longer than I have. Do you remember the days when they would put cartoon characters on cigarettes?
I ain't that old, but I'm aware it happened.
Okay. So we can all agree that bad marketing has been around since the dawn of time.
Oh, certainly.
So I guess why do you act like it's so malicious rather than just a dumb marketing team?
Because it is malicious. It is absolutely malicious because what you're doing, and I'll use their terms, you are othering members of the fandom. You are saying they don't count. We don't even consider you human enough to market to you because now everything is far right, and the far right are inhuman and they're Nazis and they don't deserve our product. So we're not going to even consider you as a fan. And they don't consider the unintentional consequences because they don't care. They don't care because they think they are so right in their point of view.
If I may bolster my co-counsel's argument for one moment here, Sam, if that is your legal name, what is so wrong about taking us back to Jabba's palace? Why can we not have our dancing Twi'leks and our cocaine body Carrie Fishers? What is so wrong with that? Name one voluptuous, attractive vixen. And why is it so wrong that we cannot have a little bit of TNA for our R&R?
Well, here at Lucasfilm, we
are a bunch of cuck simps. Yes, I rest my case. Let me defer back to my co-counsel.
If I may, just to add to my defense's argument, what you could construe as technically wrong is you're basically objectifying. You're objectifying the Twi'lek. I have trouble. I always had trouble pronouncing it.
Yes, guilty.
Yeah, what is the right way? I believe you're appropriating the name of the race right now. I think that's against your corporate policy, actually.
No, my point is that you ask what is wrong with having with sexualizing people in the Star Wars universe, and what I'm saying, my question is to you is that what is wrong with trying to not objectify other people of the cast or other people in the cast?
That's what you've been doing for a decade, and it sucked, and nobody likes it.
Well, the thing is, if I might add to Legal Mindset, there was some objectification of Kylo Ren.
Correct.
Old man pants on. He had no shirt on. So it's still happening with the introduction of all the alphabet love that's going on in Star Wars right now. That is still sexualizing content. We're just removing one part of it. We're seeing the inconsistency. That, my friends, is agenda.
Will, let me jump in and bolster the defense argument for a moment. I think sometimes too, what is your definition of sexy? And I enjoy bare skin like a normal healthy man, and have so. But I will say that, Gary, when I think of one of my favorite moments in the original trilogy with Princess Leia, one of the sexiest moments where you get to really see who she is when she takes the bounty hunter helmet off and her hair is kind of messed up, and she sees Han Solo in carbonite. It has nothing to do with her body, has nothing to do with seeing skin. And I think that, yes, it is true. We did miss a slave Leia moment in the new trilogy. They could have done it with Rey. They could have fit it in there if they wanted to. But I think that there is kind of a nuance to your audience. Your audience is kind of a wider audience, and they sometimes we've kind of cheapened the idea of sexuality in the United States just a bit, and so that's just my thought.
So are you trying to say that this is an appeal to conservatism? That Rey's lack of sexuality, the inclusion of Rose Tico, an obese woman in the series, the least bought merchandise ever, is that appealing to anybody? And by the way, is that an accurate representation of Asians? Is that an accurate representation of the majority of the Asian population? Or is it a racist trope that's being pushed because fatness is left and fitness is far right?
My original point had more to do with the nuance of sexuality, but I agree that I will say this, that Rose Tico is simply just a miscalculation of what they think is popular.
No, I think it was entirely calculated. I think it was entirely calculated because that's what they want to sexualize. They wanted
Rose Tico to be successful. It's not like they intended her.
Well, yes,
to be
they must have, because Kelly Marie Tran is a very attractive woman, and they made her as unattractive as possible. I agree. That's a creative decision, really.
This is a bad decision.
A very good one. Yeah, it's a bad decision.
It's a trend. I will say this from my background in art and the creative world, that trends take hold in Hollywood. Trends take hold in backstage and with people, and they get on one thing and they do it to death. And so it's an unfortunate portrayal of that character that Rose Tico apparently could be more attractive in certain ways. So yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there.
Mr. Ozark, just a moment here. I think you're spiraling down a path I cannot go. You're waxing poetic about the female characters and their level of sexiness from Carrie Fisher's bedroom hair. She removed her helmet. Please, sir. You please stick to the core debate. I also want to remind both the prosecution and the defense that we do have a Mr. George Lucas impersonator here today to respond to any questions you may have about his intentions or his thoughts. So,
Your Honor, if I may,
I'll leave it at that.
If I may pose some initial questions, Mr. Lucas. Mr. Lucas.
Yes.
Thank you for coming today. Mr. Lucas, have you had a chance to view the series of motion pictures, moving pictures, if you will, that have followed your original trilogy and prequel trilogy in the Star Wars series?
I was invited to all the premieres, so yes, I've sat through them.
And in your assessment as a person who was involved with this project initially, what did you think upon viewing of all of 3 of those motion pictures?
Look, it's just as hard to make a bad movie as it is to make a good movie. So I think they did everything to their own abilities, much like Jedi do when they use the Force.
Are you saying they use the Force to the dark side or to the light side, Mr. Lucas?
I don't think I can classify it one way or another. I mean, obviously, people like different things, and let me just say that I've only watched them once.
Mr. Lucas, please let's stay on target here. What I am saying is, did you enjoy these films, Mr. Lucas?
I hardly even enjoy my own films, so I don't enjoy them or unenjoy them. They are it, and they are out of my hands. I got $4.3 billion to not care about it.
That is a very good incentive. I think we would all not care with $4.3 billion. Let me ask you this, Mr. Lucas. Did you know that Kathleen Kennedy was going to lead with an aggressive political agenda upon seizing control of your empire?
Well, I had no idea what she was going to do. I got an inkling when my story ideas were tossed to the curb. But as I said,
hold on, right there. No, hold on, sir. What story ideas were tossed to the curb?
I had some ideas for how the sequel trilogy should have gone. I'm not going to go into that because I'm usually paid for those ideas.
Hold on. We can try to go. Let me go with what was put out there to not ruin your IP, George. In your trilogy series, was there a love affair between the Skywalkers and Palpatines?
No. I mean, that's just that's just funny.
Let's continue. We have one from the galley, and normally we disregard the galley, but today this is a particularly relevant question. Mara Jade, are you familiar with the expanded universe character of Mara Jade?
Yeah, that was a character that became Luke's love interest after the original trilogy.
One might say she was the love interest.
Well, sure.
Perhaps a spicy love interest.
I have no knowledge either way about that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Would you have included her in your sequel trilogy?
Well, I actually wouldn't have included anything from the extended universe characters because I had my own ideas, and those were generated by other people. And it was fine at the time because we were trying to make some money in between movies. But I would have preferred to go off on my own.
One last question: would your Luke Skywalker have sipped on blue milk from a space manatee titty?
Well, if the opportunity presented itself, I'm sure he would have. But I had other things for him to do.
No further questions.
And there were 6 opportunities in that film, if I remember correctly.
I'm trying to forget that part.
Woody Harrelson's character in Solo, a movie I unfortunately saw that did #lose money. Solo lost money. As far as him being a positive masculine character in Disney Star Wars, he ended up being duplicitous. That is another one of the tropes that you would see in Disney Star Wars. There, the men will be ineffectual. They'll be duplicitous. They'll be betas, or they'll be sad and old. That's pretty much just a constant cycle that we see through Disney Star Wars. So I wouldn't say that was a really good character in a Solo movie where he ends up being led around by yet another brunette English woman.
As my co-counsel said, the defense really ignored the call of my question there by saying that the characters that are non-villains are not positive masculine figures. He would be interpreted as a villain.
He's an anti-hero, I guess. It's kind of a gray area, but okay, that's fine.
Except for the betrayal at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.